shake as many hands as possible,
Yeah.
introduce as many people as you can. Don't be bashful. Don't expect them to come up to you. You have to go there and make the introduction, shake the hand, kiss the ring.
Episode 116 featured Willie Edwards, the associate head coach at Brown University. For more content like this, be sure to like and subscribe.
Going on my 20th year coaching football. For the first 14 of those years was at the high school level at Moses Brown School, which is actually right across the street from Brown University. And then the last, going on my 6th year now at Brown. Started off at Brown as the outside linebackers coach for about a year and a half heading into COVID. Right at the end of COVID, I transitioned into being the running backs coach. And then now this last year, I added another title as the assistant head coach.
Can you tell me about that experience at Moses Brown and then how that's helped shape your career going into college football now?
Yeah, it was an incredible experience at Moses Brown. I was very fortunate to be in that community. That was a very supportive school, and I had some incredible young men I was able to coach throughout my career. I was there for 14 years. I was the head coach the last 8, and I was assistant coach for the first 6 years there. And I was I learned so much about not only coaching, but I learned so much about myself. As a leader, I was able to adapt situations at Moses Brown that I use currently now at Brown University to help motivate my student athletes. But yeah, MB was an incredible 14 years. I had a great staff, some great kids. We were very successful. We went on a run for 5 years. We went to the Division II state championships, winning a few of them. It was, and it propelled me to this. I was able to meet my current boss, head coach James Perry, through Moses Brown. He was recruiting a few of my players when he was at Princeton, and we struck up a friendship and we stayed in touch. And then when he became the head coach at Brown, we was able to connect, and that's how I landed at Brown University.
Today's podcast is brought to you by CoachTools, the football player grading tool for coaches that's better and faster. Learn how to save time and increase your efficiency as a football coach at CoachToolsLLC.com. From my experience talking with coaches, it seems to come down to relationships, and not only relationships with your players, but relationships with your staff, with the coaches on your staff, but other coaches, if you're a high school coach, college coaches. So can you talk about that and what that has done for you? And obviously it seems to have done a lot by helping you get to Brown.
Yeah, I mean everything's relationship, building. I mean, through, like you said, through players, through your current, your current staff, and to other coaches, like you said. And yeah, if I wasn't able to make that connection with Coach Perry, it's pretty obvious that I probably wouldn't be here right now. Would I've got another chance at another college? I don't know. I'm not sure. I built some other relationships with some other people, but the relationship with Coach Perry was so strong that he afforded me this opportunity, and I took that opportunity and I ran with it. And even now, for a lot of people that are in the profession and guys that I'm friends with that are looking to go to other places, looking to move on. The roadblock that they're hitting is, even if they're very, if they're qualified and they have, and they're good enough to coach at these levels, if they hit a roadblock, they just don't have the connection. They don't have the connection to get to that next level, say if that's FBS or some type of Power 5 program. And so that's why these guys go to conventions, and they go to conferences, and they go to clinics, and they not only to learn, but also just to build connections, to build connections with people, and so if something does present itself down the line, hopefully you can break through that door sooner than other applicants.
For sure. Beyond just going to a convention, what advice would you give to a young coach who's trying to get their foot in the door with certain people?
Yeah, just keep pushing. I would tell them to just keep pushing. It gets, I'm sure it gets very frustrating. You send out a lot of emails, you send out a lot of inquiries, and you don't hear back from people, um, my suggestion to a young coach that's looking to break through is just to keep pushing. Don't get discouraged, because that one person's all you need is that one shot. And once you get that one shot, then you're gonna run with it. Your skills and your abilities will help you run with it. Um, and I would tell them to, shake as many hands as possible,
Yeah.
introduce as many people as you can. Don't be bashful. Don't expect them to come up to you. You have to go there and make the introduction, shake the hand, kiss the ring. You got to do whatever it takes so you can, get that exposure. It's kind of almost like a player. These players are going to these camps, and they gotta go out there and perform. It's the same thing if you, as a young coach, if you're trying to get to the next level, you got to put yourself out there.
Definitely. And that actually reminds me of a book that I just read, and it's all about vision and having big dreams and big goals. And he talks about the three different phases of his life. And in the first phase, it was bodybuilding. Second phase, it was movies and being a movie star. And the third phase in government. And at every phase of his life, relationships were some of the key ways that helped him get to that next level. But at the same time, you have to know where you're going. You can't just aimlessly go around and shake the hands. You have to have a purpose with why you're doing that. And when you have a vision that big, you're going to be more prone to actually continue to go forward with it. So I'm sure you can attest to that too.
Yeah, no doubt. I think you have to have a plan. I don't think you just throw darts into the wind and hopefully they stick somewhere. I think you have to have a plan. I think you have to have a vision. You have to have an end purpose. I think before you do all that, you have to know why. Why are you doing this? What do you want to get out of this? What do you want to accomplish from this? And then once you know that, then you got to formulate this plan. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna have goals, and a year from now goals, and 5 year goals, and I think that's crucial, and for your path if you want to move forward.
Yeah, and relating that back to the book real quick. So thinking about Arnold's why, he would always talk about when he was young, when he was in Austria, he just wanted to get to America, and that's the land of opportunity, and just that's the reason why he got into bodybuilding. He would just continuously put hours and hours into his craft. So I mean, I think that's a perfect parallel to coaching and to football in general.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta put hours in. There's those times where no one's looking. There's times when no one's pushing you, where you're always gonna, as a football coach, you always gonna be a constant learner. You can't have a fixed mindset, meaning like, hey, this is how it's going to work. This is what's no. You got to be able to adapt to the game. You got to be able to adapt to kids. That's the other thing too, is the psychology of the 2024 athlete. You get some coaches that are just with get a fixed mindset where they're just gonna try to do it this way, this way, this way, and if it doesn't line up with the 2024 athlete, you're only going to get so far. You got to be able
Yeah.
to know how to coach these kids.
And it's really funny you say that because I was actually just talking about just how the way the college football is set up now, and student athletes are very different than they were in my day, and I'm not that far out. Like I went to college in 2017. I graduated in 21, and then I'm sure for guys older than me, like I was very different than they were. So it's always changing, and I think that's another lesson to learn is just continue to have that growth mindset and be able to adapt to how the players are because everybody's different based on the generation.
Absolutely. It is constantly changing. And like you just said, I mean, since you graduated in 21, I mean, look at, we don't deal with it in the Ivy League, but the NIL and the transfer portal, all those things that you have to adapt. And you see now a lot of, the old school coaches are getting out of the game. And part of it isn't because, they're done with coaching. I just think to be able to adapt, it could be too much, for them to deal with. So you have to have a growth mindset. If not, it's a sink or swim profession. You're going to end up sinking.
Yeah.
That's what I think is going to happen.
Right. No, I 100% agree there. Any last words of advice, coach, you want to share with the audience today?
Yeah, man. Just keep doing this thing if you love it, man. and you're having fun. We're so fortunate, to be in this profession, to not only coach ball, which is one part of it too, but to work with young minds and to help shape minds. And if you're not enjoying that, if you're waking up every day and you're just like, this is hard and it's going to be hard. But if you wake up every day and you're just miserable, then this is not the career path for you. You want to do something, for the next 20, 30 years of your life that you're going to enjoy and you're going to, get something out of having an impact on young men, or women or athletes, whatever the case may be. But yeah, that's my final advice is to make sure that you enjoy it, you're having fun, and that is something that drives you to get better every single day.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you very much again. And I really appreciate the conversation, coach.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having me, Justin.
Yes, sir.